Hi, this is Garrett Maxon, and this is a tutorial on the basic features of Dragon. I'm going to start with loading a profile. When you first turn Dragon on, run the program, you'll find that a Dragon bar pops up on the top as a default. This can be changed in different ways, where you can either have it docked to the top, docked to the bottom, docked, or just a floating Dragon bar, or you can then move it. This one I don't really recommend because it pulls resources. You can see as I move it, it tries to find places to latch onto like that. So that means that it's using resources in order to locate a suitable spot for it to dock. If you like the free floating function, I recommend actually this clean Dragon bar. This one actually does not search for a place to dock to, uses less resources, and it's much smaller. And then another one is a tray icon, where it just will show up on the bottom on this screen. I don't have my icons down here, but it'll just have the microphone symbol at the bottom. So for this tutorial, we're going to have it docked on the top. The other ones on there are always on top, which means that if you open up any other window, it will always remain on top of the windows below it. If that's turned off, you can move other windows on top of it. So see how the title of this one is now moved on top of the Dragon bar. I like to have it on, and then your last option is exit Dragon completely. Next to that is going to be our microphone state. Right now it's grayed out because we don't have a profile loaded up. Next to that is the volume in which Dragon is hearing through the microphone. Again, we don't have a user profile loaded on, so we don't have a microphone that's turned on, so this is now great as well. Right here we see no user profile is loaded, so we're going to go ahead and load a profile. Get rid of that. To do that, we go to Profile, we go to Open User Profile. In this screen, I have two profiles set up. This profile is for my home use. And then below that is our tutorial. The other things on this screen is an open to open the profile, cancel if you want to get rid of this window. The properties of which the profile is set up. When we first made the profile, we input some information into Dragon, and this is a summary of all those things that we did while we were making the profile. The audio setup is when our microphone was checked. Our training is when we read through our training selection for what we wanted to read. Writing style has to do with data collection, which we went through in data collection, and acoustic optimizer is a similar thing. So we're going to go OK. New if we want to create a new profile. Our source is what source we are talking to, where our microphone is basically. If we want to add a source to this profile, I'll actually make a secondary profile. It won't be a full new profile, but it'll be the same one. It'll just have a different source. So say if we, instead of using a microphone USB in, we had a microphone jack instead, then that we wouldn't have to go through training again, but we would have a different source. So we'd have to do the microphone and the hardware, the sound card training again, which is the first two steps. They're like 10 to 15 seconds each. Our help is our basic help button, and sits around Dragon. You can always access that through help up here. And then down here, this is really important because this is the location of where our user profile is being stored. So in creation, there's a default location where Dragon stores information, and when Dragon's installed on your computer in your department, that will already be done by the IT department. So in this case, we're going to open up our tutorial profile. It'll go through and be loading your user profile. This should maybe take 10 to 15 seconds as well. So now once that we have the profile loaded, we can see that our microphone has now been seen. So right now the microphone is off by red, and then if we click it, it turns to green, and you can see that it's now listening to our voice from microphone level. So if I speak really low, it will be in the yellow, but if I speak really loudly and close to the microphone that's in front of me, it'll start to turn red. And I don't want to start screaming into the microphone, but some people talk very loudly, and you want to look at this while you're starting, when you're getting comfortable with Dragon, because if you're speaking too loud, maybe you need to go back and change the volume setting again in Dragon. You want it to maintain a medium level inside the green. Now if it changes, well, I'm going to turn this off so the Dragon starts listening. It's also important to make sure that this thing's turned off, because you might start calling commands or free texting, which is happening on my other screens right now, and it may cause problems. So make sure your microphone's turned off when you're not using it. If, say that we wanted to retrain our microphone, we go back into our tools, and then audio. Go into audio and then go check microphone, and this will bring us back through the initial process of checking microphone. So like we did in profile, the first part of profile creation, you'd select which device is your microphone, and it'll bring you through the volume and the hardware after that. So the basic feature of Dragon is speech recognition and what we like to call free text. Free text is whatever you say into the microphone is what Dragon will try to understand and put into your text document. Now, based on the text that we decided to read from, it'll choose words from your dictionary that you create, the words that you most frequently use. And if you choose this profile based on pathology, then it'll look for words from a pathology dictionary to match with what you're saying. So that's why it's very important to correctly pick which dictionary you want in profile creation. So this is free text. We're just going to go through and we'll make sure that in modes we're in normal mode. I'll go through those now. The modes, normal mode, it'll read free text and commands. In dictation mode, it'll only read what you're saying and not commands at all. In command mode, it'll only recognize commands, not your free texting. Numbers will just be numbers, and spelling means that you have to spell everything out. So in normal mode, we'll start with that. We can do free text. Okay, so it didn't read free text, it read pretext, and then picked up the last thing that I said in there. So that is one of the features. You can go through and read as quickly as you want to, as slowly as you want to. It's better to dictate at a normal flow of speaking, because Dragon will recognize the words you use before and after and try to contextually put a sentence together based on what you said, and so that it makes sense. It won't spit out jumbles of weird words unless you're speaking really slowly, and then it won't know the context of the word you used before or after. And so that is the basic functions of free texting and the basic of the Dragon toolbar. In the next tutorials, we'll be going over command creation using text and graphics, advanced scripting, macro recording, and step-by-step processes. And this is the end of this tutorial. Thank you for listening.